Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. My name is Gabrielle Ray and I present cases of missing persons, the unidentified, and unsolved homicides. Today I'll be presenting the missing persons case of Revell Jeeter, who's been missing since July 14th, 2003 out of McConnellsburg, Pennsylvania. His date of birth is unknown, but he is a white male who stands at 5'8", weighs 230 pounds, with sandy hair and blue eyes. He was last seen wearing a gold-tone watch on his right wrist and had short graying beard. He had black plastic frame reading glasses and a small flesh-colored mole on his right cheek, and his upper left canine tooth is missing. He also had shoulder-length hair. He was 59 years old at the time of his disappearance. He was a loner and kept to himself and rarely ever traveled. Prior to his disappearance, he had been divorced for 30 years, and he had 2 children that he wasn't very close to. He participated in charity raffles, enjoyed going to flea markets, auctions, and church bazaars, and hunted on Saturdays. He was a good gardener, and Bubba, his Jack Russell Terrier, was his constant companion and usually went with him wherever he went. He was looking forward to a crab feast at a friend's home on July 19th, but he never showed. Nothing seemed amiss in his life when his family last spoke to him on July 4th. He kept in touch by phone with his sister once a week, and he had no enemies, debts, or medical problems. He retired from Carroll County, Maryland, and he moved to 12 acres to enjoy his retirement. He wanted to be surrounded by mountains and peacefulness. He was last seen between 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. at a butcher shop, Lincoln Way Market, in the vicinity of Lincoln Way and South 2nd Street in McConnellsburg. He purchased 2 steaks for himself and Bubba and left the shop alone in his new Chrysler PT Cruiser. The car was later found parked at his home on Buck Road along with his 3 other cars. After that, he was nowhere to be seen or heard from, and the house was completely empty, and it seemed like he left with the intentions of coming back. Bubba was found running loose outside of the house, and his relatives do not believe that he would leave the area without his dog, or at least making arrangements for his care. There was no sign of forced entry to the residence, but the door was ajar and the windows were open, and there was no sign of a struggle in the home. His phone, which he always had with him, was also located in the house, along with his checkbook. Another article stated that his firearms, his PT Cruiser, his wallet, and his ATV were left with his neighbor, the Rousers, and he left his ATV with them for repair before his disappearance. Family and friends believe that if he was leaving for a long period of time, he would at least have left a note. Police did a great job searching. Neighbors, concerned county residents, and local fire companies scoured wooded areas near his residence. Police and firefighters searched on foot and with helicopters, and police searched a property near his home but found no evidence. A trained dog honed in on a spot on a neighboring farm but found nothing after it was dug up. Jeanette Enley, his sister, who is 12 years younger than him, initially thought that him not calling wasn't a big deal until she got a phone call from a Pennsylvania state trooper. But she was leaving him messages on his voicemail before she found out he was missing. "I didn't want to believe it. Not knowing is the hardest part," she says. In April of 2008, Kenneth Vernon Rouser, his neighbor, and son Gregory Chip Rouser, and Mildred Tressler were charged in a murder-for-hire plot. Greg Rouser went to the home of Randy Walters and attempted to kill him. He ended up shooting and wounding Walters, And while in jail for attempted murder, he contacted Tressler and his father to hire a hitman on Walters, but the hitman turned out to be an undercover police officer. The officer used the name Joni Pepperoni, but the hit still went through. His girlfriend, Lorraine Patterson, who was 54 years old at the time, was also charged, and it was supposed to be a total of $5,000 for the hit. After the arrest, they alluded to a possible location of Revell Jeeter's body, but they did not implicate themselves. A psychic vision said that his body was discarded in an abandoned well off of Back Hollow Road. Police drained 2 wells there in 2009, and the landowner where the wells were searched and drained are not a suspect in his disappearance, but nothing was ever found there. Several boards that have fallen over the years were also moved to ensure that nothing was beneath them. Jeanette watches shows with unsolved cases and feels sympathetic for the families because she understands what they're going through. Jeanette concluded that he was probably a victim of homicide after years passed with no insight as to what happened. I highly doubt that he's alive, but if he was, I'd be happy. I'd be overjoyed, said his sister Jeanette. Rick Jeeter, his son, said that his father was robbed of his hard-earned retirement. His sister also says that it saddens me. He was set up for life. He should still be on that mountain enjoying retirement. The family just wants closure. They just want to know what happened to him. Police and the supervisor of the crime unit, Trooper William Baker and Richard Kuchnall, stay very close to the family. If he did leave on his own, he is a great Houdini, said Kuchnall. It's unclear if the Rousers were involved in his disappearance, but his sister thinks that people may be afraid of retaliation. There are rumors that he was seen somewhere down south, but those rumors were unsubstantiated. Judge Doug Herman named Jeanette his trustee to ensure taxes and bills were paid in a timely manner in 2004, and gave her permission to sell his vehicles in 2005. Sharon, his sister-in-law, bought his PT Cruiser. In July 2010, he was pronounced dead so the family could handle all his affairs. Police are tracing the unsubstantiated rumors that were reported because falsely reporting a crime to officers is a crime within itself. Clues, rumors, and tips have popped up over the years, but absolutely none have been substantiated. His dentals and DNA are available, but his fingerprints are unavailable. Today, he would be 78 years old. That is all the information I could find on Revell Jeeter's disappearance. But it makes me happy to know that at least his family is still out there looking for him. And though it's been more than a decade since his disappearance, that he is still in people's hearts. And he's still remembered by the community, by his family and his friends. And I truthfully believe that, in my opinion, he did not leave on his own accord. Especially because he just purchased 2 steaks for him and his dog. His dog was running around the yard when he never left his dog anywhere. And didn't, prepare for any care for his dog if he was going away. He didn't tell anybody he was going away. He was planning on going to a friend's house for a crab feast. And he just never showed up again. It's like he fell off the face of the earth. And that breaks my heart because no one deserves to go through the pain and heartbreak of losing a loved one, and especially not knowing where they are. I beg all of you to keep your ears and eyes open for anybody that even remotely looks like him and or somebody that you come across that is an unidentified John Doe even, submit it, because you never know. You could bring a family some closure. And if you think that you spot him, do not take any action yourself. Call local law enforcement. And if you or anybody you know have any information on this case, please contact the Pennsylvania State Police Department at 717-485-3131 or 814-696-6100. His name is case number is MP848, and his agency case number is G05-0914-389. Once again, Revell Jeeter has been missing since July 14th, 2003 out of McConnellsburg, Pennsylvania. He is a white male who stands at 5'8" and weighs 230 pounds with sandy hair and blue eyes, and unfortunately his date of birth is not available. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful night.